Hi yogis, welcome to your practice. This is going to be another short practice that you can weave in during your week, whether it's something that you do first thing in the morning or at the end of the day. The practice that we're going to do today is a sequence called Prana Vinyasa, and it's really meant to get energy moving in the body. So if you have felt stagnant, lethargic, tired, stiff, this is going to be really nice. One thing we do want to watch out for in this practice is if you have had knee replacement surgery or knee injury or sensitivity, because this practice does involve a deep bend in the knees for the squat, but also to drop down to the knees on the mat, which can be a little sensitive if you have had any kind of surgery or injury in the knees. So just look out for that. The sequence will be done in this practice 5 times. The first time, we're going to go slow. And by the second, third, fourth round, we'll start to feel like we are syncing up our movement with our breath. So it should start to feel like a nice flow. Coda, lay down. And then at the end, we'll just take a moment, breathe, and come back to center before we close. So the way that we start this practice is done at the back of your mat. So come into the back of your mat. We start in Tadasana. So just find your posture. Take a few breaths and notice how you feel. And then go ahead and open up your feet about the width of your mat. We're going to turn the toes slightly up, and we're going to actually begin in our squat. So if you want to stick your tailbone out, you can start with your hands on the thighs, or maybe drop down to the elbows, or if it's in your range, to bring your elbows on the inside of the knees, pressing the knees open, and lifting your heart up into your thumbs. Now as we come into these deep squats, make sure that you are not leaning forward into the shins and toes, and that you're pulling your weight back towards your heels. Relax your face. Notice your breath in and out of the nose. And now slowly bring your hands forward. We're going to lift the hips, turn your toes forward, and walk your hands so that you can slowly release down to the knees and sink back to your heels. Bending the elbows and rounding your forehead to the ground. Let's take a few breaths here. Now we're going to slide on our belly. I want you to go real slow. Even think like a cobra here. So maybe a little, bringing the chest forward. We're going to lengthen out the legs. Hands under the shoulders, tops of the feet down. And we're just going to take an easy lift the heart away from the ground as you inhale and exhale. Go ahead and release. And let's shift back to the hands and knees. This time, keep your toes tucked under. Press your hips back and stretch your arms forward just to open up the feet a little bit. And then nice and slow from here, we're going to come into downward facing dog. Just have a little bend in the knees if your hamstrings are tight. We want to find that sweet spot to rest the head. Now walk your hands back to the feet. We're going to fold at the back of the mat and circle the arms behind the back, interlace the hands, and gently press the hands up and over the body, stretching the shoulders and the chest. From here, release your hands. We're going to bend the knees. Sweep the arms up by the ears. We're in chair pose with a little space between the thighs. And on your exhale, we're going to stand tall and come back to that mountain pose. From here, take a big inhale. Stretch your arms up, pressing into the feet. And as you exhale, we're going to hinge at the hips and fold forward all the way down, over the legs, and bow the head. Lift halfway up. Take an inhale. Bringing the chest forward, shoulders down. Exhale to release.
Let's go into our second round. Go ahead and walk the feet open the width of the mat, turn your toes out, and just make your way into the squat that feels right for you now. Good, let's bring our hands forward, lifting the hips. Make sure to turn your toes forward before you start to drop your knees down to the mat underneath the hips. And then sink back to the heels and melt your forehead down. From here, stretch your arms forward. We're going to stay low to the ground. Maybe think about chest and chin as you slide and lift into cobra pose. Inhale. And exhale, let's release to downward facing dog. Walk your hands back to your feet. Fold over the legs. Circle the arms behind your back. Interlace your hands and press the arms up and over the body. Take an inhale and exhale, release. Bend your knees, sweep the arms by the ears, chair pose. Exhale, stand tall, Tadasana. Inhale, lift the arms high, equally pressing into the feet. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold forward. Lifting halfway up, inhale, keep your gaze down on your mat. And exhale, fold deeply. Widen the feet. We go into our third round now. Slightly turn out the toes, and as you bend into the knees, we're just going to sink into the hips, stretching and releasing the low back. And from here, hands to the ground, lift your hips, turn your toes forward, and very carefully drop your knees to the ground and sink back to the heels, melting down. From here, we're going to slide onto the belly, and your next inhale is going to bring you into cobra pose. Exhale, release downward facing dog. Walk your hands back to the feet. Fold over the legs. Circle the arms behind the back again. Interlace your hands, maybe alternating which thumb goes on top. And gently press the hands over the body. One more inhale. And as you exhale, release your hands. Bend your knees, sweep your arms, chair pose. Exhale, stand tall. Inhale, lift high. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Fold forward slowly, drawing the navel into the body. Lift halfway up. Inhale, bringing the chest forward. Exhale, deep fold. Hands down, we're going to walk our feet open the width of the mat, turn your toes out. We come into our fourth round, beginning from the squat. Notice how this feels versus a couple rounds before. Bring your hands forward, slowly lift into the hips. Toes turn forward. Carefully drop down to the knees and release your whole body down to the earth. Slide forward, staying low. Inhale into cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk your hands back to the feet. Fold over the legs. And clasp your hands behind the back. Taking the arms up and over the body. Inhale. Exhale, release the hands. Bend your knees. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, stand tall. Inhale, let's lift the arms, ground at the feet. And exhale slowly with control, fold forward, all the way down. Lifting halfway up, inhale. Exhale, fold deeply. Walk your feet up in the width of your mat, turn your toes slightly outward. We're going to bend the knees, we come into our final squat, our final round. Hands in prayer. Think about dropping your tail as you lift your heart. Relax your jaw. Bring your hands forward. Lift the hips, turn your toes forward. Carefully release down to the knees and down to the ground. Slide on the belly, inhale into cobra pose, long legs, soft shoulders. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk your hands back to your feet. Fold over the legs. Circle the arms behind the back. Opposite thumb on top again. And press the hands up and over the body. Inhale. Exhale, release the hands. Now bend the knees, chair pose. Inhale. Exhale, stand tall. Inhale, lift the arms high. Exhale, we hinge forward slowly to fold and close our sequence. From here, we're going to release down to the hands and knees. But this time, widen out the knees, touch your big toes. And let's just take a few breaths in child's pose. Just think about smoothing out your breath. And now from here, we're going to just roll over to the back. Let's stretch out the left leg. Shift our hips over to the right. And let's take the right knee across the body for a twist, opening into the right arm and the right shoulder. Okay, nice and slow, release. And you're just going to take your time to switch sides very carefully. Bending into the left knee, shifting the hips over to the left, and then guiding the left knee to the right as you relax open into the left arm. From here, please release your twist. Coming back to center. Pause. Just stretch out your legs, relax your arms, and just lay back and close your eyes for 1 minute. And if you have more time, you're welcome to stay here as long as you like. Go ahead and start to just move your body, but stretch the arms overhead. Big inhale, pointing the toes. And on your exhale, bring both knees to the belly. Squeezing the knees in. Let's just do a little rock side to side. Now bring your feet down, and we're going to roll slowly. And come up. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste.